Coming up on Valley View News, with the fentanyl crisis on our streets, authorities are warning some drugs can be laced.
It's crazy because fentanyl is being cut into everything right now.
Plus, a fight against catalytic converter theft, the new approach to try and deter the crimes. And the state's super bloom of poppies is in full effect.
Hello and welcome to Valley View News. I'm Isabella Warren.
And I'm Maximus Osburn.
A suspect has been arrested in connection with the murder of Cash App founder Bob Lee. Nima Momeni is an IT consultant who officials say personally knew Lee. Lee was fatally stabbed in San Francisco earlier this month. Tech leaders like Elon Musk suggested that it was the city's violence and progressive policies that led to the murder. Momeni is currently being held without bail. If found guilty, he could face a maximum sentence of life in prison. His motive is still unknown.
Members of the Hillside Villa Tenant Association in Chinatown camped outside Mayor Karen Bass's mansion over the weekend. They were protesting against the end of LA's eviction moratorium, which was lifted last month. They want the LA Housing Department to negotiate with them to soften the financial blow for lower-income residents. The mayor's office says they're working with local council members and the city attorney to find a solution.
A new study is revealing homeownership in California is among the lowest in the country. Valley View News' Nicole San Juan tells us why some Californians are ready to give up their dreams of becoming a homeowner.
If you thought owning a home in California was close to impossible, you're right. A new study conducted by Ruby Home Luxury Real Estate reveals only 7 million of California's nearly 40 million residents own their homes. It's the lowest rate of home ownership in the country.
Homes are so expensive here is because one is supply and demand. There's 40 million people in California alone, and that itself already brings demand.
Real estate agent Amber Perkins says, for Californians struggling to make ends meet, the news probably isn't a surprise. The Golden State is already overpopulated and has some of the most expensive costs of living in the U.S. High interest rates combined with the lack of inventory on the real estate market has forced many to look elsewhere.
To work sometimes from 6 in the morning all the way to 7 and still see no profit, and maybe another state will be even better.
Erica and her family say they don't want to leave California, but it could be the only other option. A month ago, the state launched a program for first-time homebuyers, setting aside $300 million for 2,300 buyers with down payments. Perkins says programs are a way to help when trying to purchase a home.
So many different home buyer programs now than there was before. There's so many loan assistance programs to help.
The California Dream for All Appreciation Loan Program for homes just temporarily paused after its funds ran out just after 11 days. Reporting from Inglewood, I'm Nicole San Juan for Valley View News.
Nicole, thank you for that. Vice President Kamala Harris gave a surprise speech at an abortion rights protest in downtown LA Saturday. Harris called on people to fight for their rights. The protest was sparked by a federal judge ruling in Texas that could effectively ban mifepristone, the most used abortion drug in the U.S. The ruling is being appealed to the Supreme Court, so it has not gone into effect. If the Supreme Court chooses to side with the anti-abortion group, mifepristone will no longer have FDA approval, making it unavailable nationwide.
Los Angeles authorities responded to a bomb threat that was made to Budweiser's Van Nuys factory. It happened last week. Other Budweiser factories nationwide received bomb threats as well. The interruption comes as Budweiser continues its partnership with transgender influencer Dylan Mulvaney. Mulvaney posted a video promoting Bud Light on her TikTok page, where she has also publicly documented her transition.
Health officials are warning Angelenos of a hepatitis A outbreak. The infection is linked to frozen strawberries sold at stores like Costco and Trader Joe's. Only 7 cases have been reported in California and Washington. No deaths have been linked to the outbreak. Consumers can check lot numbers or UPC codes on their products to see if their strawberries are contaminated. Health officials advise getting vaccinated against hepatitis A. If you've consumed affected strawberries, you should contact your healthcare provider.
Authorities have a dire warning. Fentanyl is being laced into drugs being sold on our streets. Valley View News' Zena Taher has more on what the drug is doing and how overdoses can be prevented.
Sabrina Oxiano is addicted to fentanyl. She's been sober for 3 days now.
I knew that it was really dangerous and deadly, and it even killed my brother last year.
It's 50 to 100 times stronger than heroin and any opiates.
Fake prescription pills sold on the street are being laced with fentanyl.
People are dying buying Percocet or Oxy or Xanax or crystal meth or ecstasy, or cocaine. It's crazy because fentanyl is being cut into everything right now.
Catherine Wild has been battling drug addiction for more than a decade. Just a few months ago, she took meth that was laced with fentanyl. She has test strips to help keep it from happening again.
It just will test. If it's negative, it's got 2 lines, and if it's positive, it's got 1 line.
Now, if someone's already experiencing an overdose, you can help by administering Narcan. It's this nasal spray that reverses opioid overdoses, and it comes in this small box that's really portable, so you can carry it with you anywhere, including inside of your car's glove compartment.
I think everyone should be carrying Narcan right now. Like all college students should have it, all homes should have it.
Reporting from Santa Clarita for Valley View News, I'm Zena Taher.
Zena, thank you. 6 California condors have died from the bird flu recently, creating fears of an outbreak and threatening the condor population. The bird flu has seen mutations after infecting a Chilean man, but experts say that the virus's threat to people is still low. The infected Chilean man is thought to have come in contact with sick or dead chickens and is currently being treated. The mutations would make the virus easier to spread, but there's no evidence that it has spread to other people.
The Biden administration is getting closer to imposing unprecedented water cuts that could impact SoCal farms that rely on the Colorado River. The administration released an analysis of the Colorado River crisis last week that showed different scenarios for slashing water use. Many say the logical place to make cuts is the Imperial Valley in SoCal. Farmers there use more water from the Colorado River than the states of Utah, Wyoming, Nevada, and New Mexico combined. Federal officials are attempting to implement plans that best conserve and allocate water without causing tensions between states. Millions of people rely on the river for water and electricity, but climate conditions, overuse, and drought have caused the levels to severely drop.
Dozens of Claremont residents are still scrambling to protect their homes after groundwater mysteriously started to seep up to the surface. Valley View News' Lupita Baltazar shows us how a small trickle quickly grew into a steady flow.
This is one of the several homes that has been affected by the groundwater flooding here in Stone Canyon neighborhood. Many homeowners have hired private contractors to pump water out of the ground, but as you can see, water keeps coming.
This is Ken Larson's backyard. He noticed a mysterious leak on the concrete last week, but says that it just got worse this week when it turned into a full-on flood.
Currently we have 7 pumps going, trying to get the water out of the backyard. It's overwhelmed all of our drainage, our landscape drains. It's overwhelming all of our retaining walls.
The city of Claremont, in a letter, says the flooding is being caused by millions of gallons of water being released from the nearby San Antonio Dam. It's operated by the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers. The dam's water levels had gotten so high it was at risk of overflowing. Federal officials say the flooding is not explicitly related to the water release and argue there can be multiple sources.
We tell the city and the federal government, solve the problem. If it's going to take 2 weeks to solve the problem, help me out, get me some pumps. I'm not going anywhere. This is my house. This is my life. I love it.
Many homeowners around the neighborhood, like Larson, want answers. He spent about $10,000 so far and even taken time off from work.
The city says it's providing sand and sandbags for homeowners that need them, but there is no word yet if they will help pay for repairs. In Claremont, for Valley View News, I am Lupita Baltazar.
Lupita, thank you. A suspect has been arrested in connection to shooting threats to California's capital. Jackson Pinney was identified by officials after making threats to the Capitol building. He has been tied to 2 other shootings where he opened fire from his truck at a hospital and a commercial building. There were no deaths. Residents recognized Pinney's car, which led authorities to his arrest. He is facing several charges, including attempted homicide and assault with a firearm.
More to come on Valley View News. President Biden's clean water rule faces an obstacle, and Best Buy is experiencing layoffs across the country. Stay with us.
Dear moms and dads, what you have achieved here today is going to help us and our futures. It is why we are coming up on stage to collect your diplomas.
You know it's true.
Mom, we love you always.
Everything I do.
When you graduate, they graduate. Visit finishyourdiploma.org to find free and supportive adult education centers near you.
When it comes to making plans, you are the best. Those 9 months were also 273 days of planning. What about your daughter's first costume party? It was out of this world. And let's not forget those barbecues you plan in detail for your family and your more vegetarian by the day best friends. That surprise party for your parents' golden anniversary? You get the golden planning. The same way you plan each detail for those moments, start planning to protect you and your loved ones from a natural disaster. Sign up for local weather and emergency alerts. Prepare an emergency kit and make a family communications plan. Protecting your family is the best plan you can make.
You're not gonna get it all right. Just make sure you nail the big stuff.
Mama!
Like making sure your kids are in the right seat for their age and size. Get it right at nhtsa.gov/the-right-seat.
Did you know dragging chains can spark a wildfire?
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Welcome back. We take a look into news overseas, where a Russian fleet in the Pacific is launching practice missiles. Andrea Peña Reyes is in our digital media center with the details. Andrea?
Thanks, Isabella. More on that in a few moments, but we start with a border. The Mexican Navy and the U.S. Coast Guard are searching for 3 American sailors who went missing near the city of Mazatlan, Mexico. They have been identified as Gary O'Brien, Frank O'Brien, and William Gross, all experienced sailors. Their families have not heard from them since April 4th. They were planning to stop in Cabo San Lucas aboard a 44-foot boat on April 6th. Then they're going to head to San Diego. If you have any information on their whereabouts, you're urged to contact the Coast Guards. Almost a dozen prisoners were killed in confrontation in Ecuadorian prison. It started after 6 inmates were found hung last Wednesday. 3 female guards were killed in a restaurant outside the prison the following day. Authorities say it's unclear who is responsible for the 12 deaths. The prisons are the epicenter of drug trafficking, rivalry between violent gangs. Ecuadorian Defense Minister Juan Zapata says the country is experiencing the worst moments of violence in recent years. Brazil President Luis Lula da Silva visits China to strengthen connection between the 2 countries. President Lula da Silva says he wants to partner with Asia's biggest country to reintroduce Brazil to hailing industrial sector. Brazil lost almost 1 million industrial jobs last year. Before returning to Brazil, President Lula da Silva visited Chinese telecommunication company Huawei to promote a digital revolution in Brazil. French President Emmanuel Macron plan to change the retirement age to 64 is now officially a law, although the Constitutional Council didn't agree with some parts of pension legislation. They agreed to raise the retirement age by 2 more years. The changes will begin in September, but some opposition from labor unions who have been protesting since January argued the change threatens a hard-won social safety net and have vowed to continue protesting until it's removed. The group has planned a mass protest on International Workers' Day on May 1st. The Russian Pacific Fleet was seen practicing missile launches amid tension in the continuing war with Ukraine. The Russian Defense Minister Sergei Shoigu shared this video where warships and submarines are seen sailing off. Shoigu said the war aims to test the nation's armed forces' ability to respond to aggression. The Pacific Fleet includes nuclear-capable strategy bombers and warplanes. That's the latest on international news. I'm Andrea Peña Reyes. Back to you in the studio.
Andrea, thank you. A birthday party took a deadly turn this weekend after a gunman shot 28 people, killing 4. It happened in Dadeville, Alabama. Most of the victims were identified as teenagers who were attending a 16th birthday party. Police have not shared if the shooter is in custody. They say an argument caused the shooting. 2 of the victims were identified as Dadeville High School seniors.
A federal judge blocked President Joe Biden's clean water rule in 24 states last week. Judge Daniel Hovland of the U.S. District of North Dakota issued a temporary injunction to pause the enforcement of the rule. Biden issued the clean water protections last year. Opponents of the rule say it harms business and agriculture. But White House officials say if protections are loosened, it could harm drinking water across the U.S. The Environmental Protection Agency was sued earlier this year after Republicans said the rule violated the Constitution.
Elon Musk has created a new artificial intelligence company. It's named XAI. Musk serves as its director. A filing for the company shows it was incorporated early last month. It comes just weeks after Musk called for a pause on all AI development in an open letter. Along with a group of tech experts, Musk said AI posed risks to society.
And Musk's SpaceX was scheduled to launch its Starship rocket Monday, but the operation was canceled. A pressurization issue led engineers to delay the launch. The rocket was supposed to make one full lap around the Earth before landing off the coast of Hawaii. Starship is the most powerful rocket ever constructed. Musk has said it brings SpaceX closer to sending people to Mars.
Catalytic converter theft has been on the rise for the past 5 years, but it takes more than one party to try and fight the crime. Valley View News' Sonia Hugh shows us some approaches.
That is the sound that Esteban Moreno heard when he tried to start his car a few days ago.
At the time, I'm thinking they got me again.
Moreno says it was the second time in a year that his catalytic converter got stolen.
At this point, don't know what I can do to kind of prevent it.
To help victims like Moreno, the Los Angeles Police Department hosted a free VIN marking event over the weekend. While it doesn't necessarily prevent theft, Detective Jeff Lohman says having the VIN etched on your catalytic converter helps in prosecuting the thieves.
If you don't have an identified victim in a property crime, it's near impossible to get a prosecution. There has to be a potential victim that says, hi courts, I didn't get permission for this person to take my catalytic converter.
VIN marking also helps police return recovered catalytic converters to their owners. But Sako Abadin, who runs a muffler shop in Reseda, says the current laws raise questions about the purpose.
California law says we cannot install a used catalytic converter. So, now we're falling in that gray area of the law. I mean, are we supposed to put that catalytic converter back on the car, or?
Arbajan recommends installing a cat shield for those looking for a more immediate solution to deter thieves. In the meantime, LA City Council voted Tuesday to allow police to arrest anyone who has an unattached catalytic converter without papers to prove lawful ownership. If found guilty, they can be fined up to $1,000 or face 6 months of jail time. Reporting from Reseda, I'm Sonia Hugh.
Thank you, Sonia. Shopping in stores is a thing of the past, and online shopping is in. Best Buy is laying off store employees across the country. It's a response to consumers buying products online and electronic sales decreasing. The company says it wants to evolve its stores and offer a better experience to customers. Best Buy plans to hire more customer support employees and invest in its Total Tech membership program and health business. The retailer had 125,000 employees in early 2020. That number was down to 90,000 at the end of January.
When we come back, actor Jamie Foxx is recovering from a medical complication. Also, it's the end of the hit Broadway show, The Phantom of the Opera. Stay with us.
Today, we face an unprecedented crisis. Tens of millions of refugees have been forced from their homes. But you can make a difference. Turn disruption and despair to hope and opportunity. Even small amounts make a big difference. Provide shelter, support, or jobs in your community. The more we understand, the greater sense of belonging we create. Act now. Visit supportcrisisrelief.org.
My name is Gary Parker. I served as a Cavalry Scout and a military policeman in the United States Army for 20 years. When I was a Cavalry Scout, we had a young lieutenant that came in. Great guy, but he moved on, got promoted to lieutenant colonel, went on to Afghanistan, and I was able to keep in contact. And I'd wake up one morning, go on social media, and there's that post you don't want to see. For whatever reason, he took his own life. Nobody knows why he did it, and if there's something that we could have done to prevent it from happening. Safe gun storage can prevent gun suicide because it's that added step to get to your firearm that might just give somebody a moment of reflection on what they're doing. As a veteran, we need to be ambassadors to people that don't have the knowledge that we have. Anytime you're not storing a weapon safely, you're putting yourself and your community at risk. Service never stops.
STEM is everywhere, like here, behind the scenes of The Walking Dead. STEM can create new worlds on and off the screen. The only limit is your imagination. Get inspired at shecanstem.com.
There are 16 million children struggling with hunger in America. That's 1 in 5 daughters, sons, neighbors, and classmates who don't know where their next meal is coming from. Yet billions of pounds of good food go to waste every year. It's time we do something about it. Feeding America is a nationwide network of food banks that helps provide meals to millions of kids and families in need. Visit feedingamerica.org to help them feed even more. Together, we can solve hunger. Together, we're feeding America.
So, how should we continue this, in English or Spanish? Puerto Rican singer Bad Bunny posed a similar question during his performance at Coachella. He's the first Latino artist to ever headline the festival. He sang all of his top hits to the massive audience. He will take the stage again in Weekend 2, set for April 21st through the 23rd at the Empire Polo Club in Indio. Was there any artists you were excited for?
I actually didn't even know Coachella was happening, so you probably have a better answer than me, but I did hear Frank Ocean was performing.
Yes, Frank Ocean was performing, but he decided he didn't want it live streamed.
I did hear about that.
A little disappointed.
Disappointed fans all around. But actress Rachel McAdams will premiere in Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret, as Margaret's mom. The actress says playing the mother has been very different now that she is a mom of 2. She says she was reminded of how hard it was to be a preteen when everything mattered. The movie is based on a 1970 book by Judy Blume. It follows a little girl's late-night conversations with God about her purity, menstruation, and fitting in. The movie will release on April 28th, 2023.
Actor Jamie Foxx is continuing his recovery from a medical complication. His daughter made the announcement via Instagram last week. She said, due to great care and quick action, the actor is already on his way to recovery. A source tells People magazine that Foxx had to cancel a day of filming Back in Action, his latest Netflix movie. Filming resumed the next day with a stand-in for Foxx. Since the announcement, many of the actor's friends have also sent him best wishes for a steady recovery.
If you haven't been able to make it up to see the state flower, there is still time. Valley View News' reporter Aaliyah Fitzgerald shows us the California poppy super bloom.
Just 70 miles from Los Angeles, hillsides of orange poppies can be seen captivating Lancaster. Though it's a rare sight for some, it's seemingly an annual event for the residents of the Antelope Valley. With this being a hotspot for tourism, lots of tourists are unaware of how to leave these beautiful signatures of California in the best shape possible for others to enjoy. It is illegal to pick any plant found in a state or federal park. If you choose to do so, you might be prosecuted for a misdemeanor crime, punishable up to a fine of $1,000 and even 6 months in jail. It is important to be mindful of the dirt paths provided.
Took my sister from South Korea and then my nephew. Everybody love it. They keep talking about in Korea, South Korea, whole friend and family. So this water make it so beautiful. I don't want to miss the chance. So beautiful. Everybody should be here.
As for those trendy Instagram photos, officials say you should be aware of your surroundings, not only to protect the flowers, but for rattlesnakes that could be living in the area as well.
And we just came out here. We come here every year, and we just come out here to just enjoy the poppies and kind of connect with Earth, what Earth gave us, and yeah.
Now, do be aware of the wind advisories that could be taking place when coming out here to the Antelope Valley. The California Poppy Festival will be taking place April 21st throughout the 23rd at the AV Fairgrounds and Event Center. In Lancaster, this is Aaliyah Fitzgerald, Valley View News.
Thank you, Aaliyah. After 6 seasons, co-host Ryan Seacrest said goodbye to Live with Kelly and Ryan. Seacrest had mentioned he was going to get emotional as soon as he stepped onto the stage. Seacrest and co-host Kelly Ripa both cried despite promising each other that it was a day of celebration. The show highlighted Seacrest's hosting over the years. First Lady Biden appeared as a guest, and singer Michael Bublé also sent a special video message. Seacrest announced in February that he was leaving to focus on American Idol and other projects.
And another goodbye, this one to the Phantom of the Opera. After 35 years and nearly 14,000 performances, the Broadway show came to an end Sunday. The cost to reopen after pandemic closures increased due to resources needed to enforce COVID-19 protocols. The profits have not returned to pre-pandemic levels. Composer Andrew Lloyd Webber said that the show costs about $1 million to run every week, and it just could not survive the financial burden. Phantom will still remain on the theater scene. Their licensing rights will be available to amateur companies. Are you much of a theater type of person?
Not really, but I do know that there's that giant chandelier that swings over the audience, and that has got to cost so much money.
It does sound like it costs some dough.
Yeah. A father of a 1-year-old is setting an example for his son. Lucas Hump is a 33-year-old father from Brisbane, Australia. He set a new world record in doing push-ups. He completed 3,206 push-ups in under 1 hour. That's 53 push-ups a minute. The record required a perfect 90-degree angle with no bend at the knees or waist. Hump told Guinness World Records he wanted to be an inspiration. He wanted to show his son nothing is impossible. Do you think you could do that?
I don't want to take anything away from him, but would he do 3,000 something?
Yeah.
We're going to do 4,000. You and me. We're going to tag team it. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I'm roping you in. That's all for us at Valley View News. I'm Maximus Osburn.
And I'm Isabella Warren. For stories any time of day, go to our website, CSUNValleyView.com. Thanks for watching.